Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to HGC North America, where if you didn't catch it before the break, you are lucky because we have the action here between HeroesHearth Esports and Tempo Storm. HeroesHearth up 2 games against the #1 seed in North America, making them look not only mortal, maybe, you know, even a flawed human, I'd be willing to pose at this point.
Green Jesus.
Green Jesus.
Thrall 2-0 so far.
One hint of philosophy, and we get into Green Jesus in a matter of seconds. Thrall, man.
Thrall, I mean, the fact that he lived in a couple of those circumstances, you're like, how in the world is this even possible? The Ancestral Wrath, obviously popping the Frostwolf Resistance. I hinted at it a little bit in his 7 and 13, and then it came into those in the Earthquake. Obviously, you're constantly proccing your trait there, trying to get that. He's just like, I'm surviving, and somehow I'm surviving. So, you know, they're willing to forego the Blaze and the Dahaka. Maybe we get more Thrall.
I feel like this was a really good play from HeroesHearth when looking at the draft. I feel like a lot of this was going, because you heard Ishbu talk about, you know, maybe some heroes that are key to their off, and you know the off lane has got to be the focus after what we saw happen to Tempo a couple weeks ago with that reverse sweep. So then what do you make happen? Rather than countering it, right, with a draft, they're just countering it with a pick. They just go, well, we've got Blaze under our arsenal. Take a little scrapbook out of you, and we got things rolling pretty good. We're going to figure out where we're going for Game 3 as we bring out the Battlegrounds, and it's a doozy kind of to try and guess this one. HeroesHearth Esports will, in fact, select the Towers of Doom. I thought, you know, maybe we would see a situation where Tempo continue with the map selection, and then Tempo has had, you know, Volskaya has been one of those maps they've been willing to go to recently, but we're going to still stick to the norm. One of the more popular maps here at HGC. Go with Towers.
It's really interesting because I almost don't believe my notes. I feel like I need to double check this.
I actually, yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Towers of Doom for Tempo Storm. They have a losing record on this map, Dreadnought, 4 and 5. It's not like they're 1 and 2. They are 4 and 5. On the other side for HeroesHearth, though, they're 4 and 4. So it's not like they're lighting it up. They're lighting it up. But if you're trying to look at advantages that you could possibly take. Now, the thing is about Tempo Storm, I mean, you look at the way that they've kind of played this Battleground. In the past, it was just the full death ball composition that they like to run. They've actually picked up 2 losses since we've come back from the Clash on Towers of Doom. They used to just have the death ball composition, use the Dahaka Global, come down, and just run in and dare people to take it. This is like when they went full melee with the Dahaka as like the main tank. Maybe they need to bust out some old tricks.
We'll find out here. Game 3's draft about to unfold. Another question we've got to be asking ourselves in the same, you know, kind of vein of thought here is with that off lane, with the Dahaka the priority. In the last game, when Dahaka was a relevant hero, we saw HeroesHearth Esports just ban it first ban.
Yeah.
And say, well, then you have to commit to the Blaze within your 1-2. But now it's the opposite, because the map selection is actually Tempo. Tempo's in the first pick slot, so they get to be a bit more of a bully if they feel like that is the case. Granted, I don't think Tempo will push the envelope, because if anything, it is their weakness to kind of have. But HeroesHearth is not going to have nearly as many, you know, picks to play with and bully around that off lane.
Hanzo first ban, which means that we could potentially be playing around the Phoenix. But what we've seen from HeroesHearth thus far is that priority on Hanzo has not been there. I do wonder, with the Hanzo ban, if we might get another Tracer this go-around. Obviously, that Tracer composition in the first game lacked a little bit of wave clear, didn't seem to quite hit the mark. Tomb of the Spider Queen, we look at Towers of Doom, maybe a little bit more. We also have to consider an Abathur, something that we know can come out on the side of HeroesHearth. There's so much to consider that I think Tempo Storm may or may not be prepared for. I say Abathur, I think maybe we get an old school Crowan Greymane. Go for a clone there. There's so much to consider here when you look at the level of these teams and how well they can execute within multiple drafts.
The Medivh still does come to mind, though, and Towers of Doom is very much a Medivh, you know, map, if you will. Probably the first map that when he wasn't meta at all, right? Like where you would once in a while see him was on Towers of Doom, typically paired with that Stitches, with the kind of pick composition.
Do you miss the Lost Vikings on Towers of Doom?
I don't miss any ounce of that. I will be honest, out of the specialist role, there are very few heroes in that area that I go, I like this hero, I love them, you know, I want to see them. Abathur sits on the higher end, and, you know, I asked the question, is it still worth the ban? And HeroesHearth answered quickly with, yes, it is. Are you willing to get the first pick onto this Blaze Tempo Storm?
I just don't know if HeroesHearth needs the Blaze at this point.
I don't think they do.
I think they're just trying to take away the Dahaka play.
They're literally just going, we remove one, you keep taking that one, we'll keep counter-picking it, and let's see if you're going to mix anything up at any point in time. And even with that, I think that's a better answer because it makes it less clear on the solution for Tempo. Do you let that go through and trying to find a different answer of your own, and then be like, hey, would you like the Blaze yourself, and then just try and counter it through a different section of the map? They're going to start with the Medivh.
It was.
I think that's a good start.
It was
You
just
know,
a
pretty
few
good
weeks
one.
ago. Didn't they run the Medivh comp on this, and that's when Fan was on Medivh, and things didn't quite look.
Yeah, I believe
Not
it
that
was
he
on
played it
towers.
bad. It was just as a team, it
Yeah.
didn't seem to look good.
Yeah, no, it definitely, in the world of, you know, to help better provide some kind of idea and context to the word kittywampus, it did look a little kittywampus. So maybe that helps, you know, when you're
Yes.
understanding, like, what does it look like? Yeah.
Can you even spell kittywampus, Dreadnought? Is there an actual spelling?
You know, there probably is.
It's just, or is it just like
I have
slang?
my version, but I don't know. I think there probably is.
Is it kitty like with D or T?
I think it's a D. I don't think it's like a kitty, like a real kitty. It's just a kitty, like a child, kid, you know, kitty. Words are hard, man.
Kittywampus. Medivh picked up. Saw that play from HeroesHearth. Worked out in game number 1. Going to be picked up here by Tempo Storm. Garrosh still has been a big part of what we see from HeroesHearth. They're going to continue down that path with the Maiev and Garrosh. No surprise there.
Lot of threat there within the 4-man. And, you know, I will never say no to an Arthur and Maiev. Personally feel like him and Psalm are number 1 and 2 Maievs. I actually would argue I think Arthur may be the number 1 Maiev. When you're looking at how often, mainly his shadow use actually. I was just talking to our observer Poseidon outside, fanboying over it a little bit over our small commercial break, as it's very good at how much he manipulates that shadow and kind of really makes teams second guess their positioning. What do we see from Tempo though? Now that they got the Medivh, there's a lot of threat within the 4. You got to be wondering, how do you make up for that for yourself? Medivh plus, I mean, Johanna, which is that frontliner that you see once in a while. Yeah, the Blaze has got to be something we also keep in mind, but I'm wondering frontline. What do we see that adjustment?
The fact that we've seen 2 Johanna games. Johanna has been the least successful warrior that we've had here. I think maybe at all of HGC in terms of like our consistent meta picks. She sits in the 35-ish% win rate. It is a tough time to be a Johanna main right now. And they do prioritize the Blaze. Stukov to pair with it.
I think it's just a tough time to be a warrior against Garrosh. It's about the better way to put it, is that Garrosh is so single-handedly just a bully.
Like, you understand why the Johanna is picked, right? But at the same time, you look at other warriors, like the Tyrael that we haven't seen. And if you were saying, all right, well, we have no CC.
Yeah.
Look over at Europe. They're playing a lot of a Nubarak right now to kind of deal with that. And I feel that there is some counter actions there that could potentially come in. Diablo being hovered right now. We know the old Medivh Diablo composition and Diablo into this style of Garrosh.
But with that same thought process you and I have just had, I personally feel like this Diablo ban is really good because it's one of the few maps that Diablo can be high impact. It also goes, hey, we might want a Tracer. Are you worried about that? Maybe ban out the Tracer here for Tempo Storm, which we talked about the Tracer bug that they've been maybe feeling in the drafts of game 1 and 2. I feel like from beginning ahead, it incentivizes that Johanna, which Johanna, normally when you have a Medivh composition, you kind of go, are we struggling for damage? But then when you put the Johanna with it, then you go, yeah, well, boys, we're a double warrior composition with a Medivh, and unless you have an insane hyper carry, and as it currently stands, other than Phoenix Hanzo, there's hyper carries may not exist, which, by the way, Phoenix, hello? Making it through this draft pretty far.
HeroesHearth again. We haven't seen that priority on the Hanzo Phoenix for them yet. And Junkrat obviously does do well against the Medivh portals. See what their damage is going to be. Maybe we hold on to it. There's an outside shot that we get a kind of an old school Cassia. You know, there's not a whole lot. Obviously, Medivh can portal in, but right now there's not a lot that's fearing me. Again, I always need the pop, that follow-up on what's going to get the kill after the Garrosh. Last game was the Chromie, which not necessarily the same synergy, but every time we got the taunt, we had the big Dragon's Breath coming down. Maiev portal, follow-up, maybe we just go Jaina again.
I have an interesting question, too, in this rotation. We've seen the Thrall as a match to the Blaze, and I'm going to expect we get another Thrall in this game. But if that is the case, do you pick it here or do you leave it vague as the last pick and maybe want to get the adjustment? Because normally I'd be like, with this new flexing pick, you want to see everything, make sure there's not a hole, especially when you've shown the pattern of interest in the Thrall. But at the same time, the backliner, I think keeping that vague and being reactionary to everything on the side of here Tempo Storm will be more advantageous for them. It's just whether or not you want to take the risk of that squishy and committing to that Thrall at this point in time. Or, you know, back out and go a different direction. Don't have to take it as an offlaner. They still save the
Their offlaner is now... No.
Oh, no, you're right.
Their offlaner is now ETC. It's like, wait, I know, trust me, I'm as surprised as you are, but now this is a very heavy melee composition.
But now let's put 2 and 2 together. When we look at the last 2 maps, Dragonshire, Tomb of the Spider Queen, right? What is Thrall? we've seen Dahaka be banned out, bait into the Blaze in both of those games. The only other matchup that we originally heard when Blaze came out as a trade-up was Wubby still going, yo, my ETC, it can body any Blaze in 1v1, right? Well, you ban out the Dahaka in this game, it's the only global in the offlane remaining is the ETC with an advantageous 1v1 trading matchup. This is clever on the side of HeroesHearth Esports. Originally, it's like, wait, where's the Thrall bin? But now that I think about it, it's like, oh, that's actually pretty apparent why we don't want to see that Thrall here.
I'm going to dig one step further.
All right.
This is very far down the line. But, you know, one of the bunker changes that came in, as well as the cooldown reduction, was the fact that they had a 1-second cooldown now to where you could re-enter. Normally, you could kind of play around that, bait out some of the abilities. You see the power slide, something along those lines. Now you've got to step out. We're going down the Varian route. We're going Johanna, Varian. We get a Phoenix on the back end of this. This is very surprising to me. And now I look at this. Stage Dive Dreadnought is very appealing against this composition of tempo.
Do they just Abathur support solo? It's a high risk at this point in time.
I mean,
I'm just saying, when you look at the variants, Duke Up, Blaze, and Medivh, lacks wave clear. Phoenix is everything for this composition. The Abathur would not be worried about the early game pressure if they feel like that's a thing. I'm just saying HeroesHearth has done it multiple times, and it would be a situation where they would be able to apply a lot of the pressure they would like. That in mind, burst support and cleansing against a variant as starting as early as level 4, probably a must. Don't expect the Abathur to come out, but there is so little and so much into skirmishing and trading between the Medivh variant on the side of Tempo Storm. I'm looking for, you know, that kind of macro answer now for HeroesHearth. Sadly, because the support is the last pick, it's not going to have enough punishment. What do we got? Malfurion is available. The fact that they haven't committed to it.
There's an outside shot of me that I don't know if we get a lot of Karazim from BBJ. Block party from ETC. Potential Earth ally. Instead we keep it simple. Keep the Rhaegar. Makes sense.
Have the cleanse and the burst heal. Like
we don't see a whole lot of block party because once you finish your globe quest, you can AoE heal those around you. Gives you that sustain, especially in fights like this. But against the Phoenix, obviously slow auto attacks are very good to deal with. I wonder if this might be a block party game.
Maybe.
We don't see it that often just because the AoE healing tends to be pretty valuable.
I think the one counter argument to that would be likely going to be off-lane ETC, which is probably going to be getting globe on globe on globe, which then you look for that over the block party. If you're in the 4-man, then block party makes a lot more sense. Sure. I think that's the only reason why in this case I'd be like, but I think there is a definite argument with now Phoenix kind of coming in. Will we see more block party? Definitely getting a lot of value, you know, getting that AoE block out for the squad.
These drafts, though, HeroesHearth is just, they're throwing every wrench that they possibly can into this to make life difficult. Very rarely do you say that somebody is drafting against Tempo Storm and making Tempo Storm's life hard.
Yeah.
We've now seen 2 Johannas and now a Variant. Is that going to be enough for Tempo Storm, Dread?
And we've seen 2 times a Thrall into a Blaze that worked out really, really well. Now the question is in Game 3, is the ETC there for McIntyre going to be enough on that side lane? We find out here on Towers of Doom. I will say, though, as I said in the draft, always exciting whenever we get an Arthalong Maev.
Just the amount of control that if they can get any type of follow-up, and if we get the ETC stage dive from the backline power slide back to safety, and you get that type of combo, I mean, Tempo Storm might be in for a world of hurt, or they just sit there and be like, we'll turn it around, and this laser that's ripping through 3 to 4 people all in one area, it's going to work out really well.
Clash of the waves here, number 1. Who pulls out on top? McIntyre not able to connect there with that power slide. Bit of punishment coming out from the other end, but nobody going to gain anything. Rotational advantage here for HeroesHearth. Look at immediately. They send Garrosh for a 3-2 split within the laning. Are they going to... Oh, man. HBU comes back here to accent the 4. I was just like, why do we see this kind of commitment without any damage potential up there? But we'll see if they end up committing more towards maybe Glarong as the game moves on.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around the Varian pick. You know, we haven't seen a lot of success with it so far. It's not to say that it can't be had. We're looking at very different variants, still pretty new in terms of what we've seen so far. But in this composition, I'm not sure where I see it.
I will say I'm not going to be able to support, you know, and give you some insight that's going to be that much better. The only 2 things I had to really add is, number 1, Kato's been repping it on stream quite a bit. Number 2 is that Kato has also been cool with Varian before the rework in situations where your average frontliner may not be okay with it. So in my opinion, I look at this and I go, Varian got changed, definitely better than he was before. Tempo Storm seems like they would be the team, especially Caterpillar, to be willing to adventure into it a little bit more. I think this is probably one of the better variants we've seen picked. I would still say I adore Simplicity's decision-making with the double wave clear backliner into that a lot more than that of Tempo Storm here, but by no means is it that big of a setback compared to what we can typically see.
Maiev going top. They're trying to see if they can get that. Just kind of watching the minimap, you can just tell when you see that Blaze icon move at a very smooth pace. You know, he got the jet propulsion out and didn't kind of hit the body blocking hero, and it's like, all right. This value out of the bot lane, though, Dreadnought, pretty significant.
All because of the advantage there that you see the Blaze have off in the off lane. And also, we talked about, you know, having McIntyre there on the ETC is going to be effective within that side lane, but it's only impactful post 7. Do you even become a relevant healer or hero typically, no matter what 7 you end up moving into, whether it be the Echo Pedal or a clear on W?
Actually saw Maiev had leashed. I was watching the minimap. Maiev had leashed the sappers in that top. It's going to require multiple people to go up there. Put the totem down, give yourself a little bit of vision to make sure nobody comes in. There's going to be the portal directly, and there's going to be the taunt onto Jaina. The heal not going to be enough as Fan comes in, and that's all. Despite having the totem down there, the Medivh portal closing the gap a bit too much.
That is why Varian Medivh, ladies and gentlemen, used to be one of the highest, you know, threat combos that existed. The gap close into that lockdown with that taunt. See if Tempo can continue that success here. ETC is going to start the top left. Phoenix secures the bottom shrine. And look at this. Ishbu out a little bit too far. Nice and dominable. Able to make it out.
Going to get a little bit of core health lead here as Tempo Storm channeling 2 out of these first 3, especially after that pick. And now, see if we get another one. Hearthland going to go ahead and use that blink out. Psalm, however.
Good dodge there from Cattle as well. Be able to kite out.
Is that a different? We get a different level 4 from Stukov. I'm so used to seeing one good spread, Dreadnought. Top off. Healing pathogens heal over time on its initial target is increased by 50% while they are above 50% health. That is not the norm.
It's not the norm. Very much a, what I would like to call probably a win harder, you know, kind of talent.
Stay healthy.
Yeah, as long as you are above that 50%, then you can increase the value out of it. But if you're suddenly struggling with that kind of all-in damage, granted, I think a lot of that is depending on, wait a minute, nice follow-up there from Hearth to be able to kite over the wall. I think a lot of that is because you do have the Medivh on your team. When you look at the options to stay above 50% HP, when everybody is legitimately protected, you know, for a small period of time, it makes it very easy to remain above 50% HP and then get value there out of that increased HP and healing with that level 4 talent. Still going to go with the increased range, though. Probably standard from this point out here for June.
Also get the Lion's Fang build here. Obviously stacking up, getting more healing at level 7. Also doing a bit more in terms of slow and damage on that level 1 quest. So as he completes that, currently sitting at 16 stacks on that one. Globe talents, when you look at Jaina ETC on the other side, 8 globes for Jaina, 11 for ETC on that Prog Rock.
Good dismount there for Ishbu. Portal's going to keep the advancement, though, and not going to last long there. Not many opportunities to control your hero. Ishbu trying to kite away, but Psalm tracking it down with that damage. It's another kill here. Tempo Storm is just obliterating HeroesHearth Esports here in game number 3. BBJ trying to kite out, but against a Medivh, nowhere is safe. And in case anybody was wondering, why has Medivh been banned in North America for such consistent amount of time? I think that you're getting a pretty good clinic here from Tempo. Nowhere can you hide. Nowhere is a safe place to exist.
They're just, HeroesHearth seems to be overstepping their boundaries. The first time, obviously, it was just a really good play diving under the fort, but that time, HeroesHearth was pushed out very far, and then obviously BBG actually went back in for the bite. It's like, I don't know if that's going to help much. He ended up dropping as well, so now we're looking at a full level lead. Core health continuing to fall as well, considering they just obtained that bottom bell tower. It's 5 additional shots, making it 27 core health left. BBJ could be under assault again.
No heroic choice yet for Fan on that Medivh. Want to know if we're going to see, I feel like it's going to be the Polybomb. It's been the go-to for a majority, you know, especially out of EU. Trying to see if there's a major argument for the ley line, but I can't see one.
They went ley line, yeah.
I guess you could make the argument for the isolation, right? You get the portal in, target one person, everybody funnels in, ley line in the back line. Because typically polybomb is when you want to kill the person, you know, you're crowd controlling itself. Ley line is whenever you want to stop the advance of everybody else. Didn't really think about that too much, and now that I do, it might make that look a lot more difficult for Heroes Hearth. More difficult than it already has been, as we see another kill there.
Put down the spray, let them know you were here. Tempo Storm Dreadnought has all of a sudden just flipped a switch. Again, I wasn't sure how I felt about the draft in particular, but we finally hit level 10. And that's kind of the big moment of like, all right, we've got to turn this around. You've got the ETC. You've missed out on a lot of soap. You get the stage dive. You get the global. But is this too far to come back?
Find out. Ishbu, he's aggressing here, has the opportunity to taunt. We see the stage dive coming in too. Power slide going to land onto June. The taunt immediately after. Body blocks coming in, but the knockback. Oh my, that was so close, but the groundbreaker's enough to get the kill there. Confirmed for HeroesHearth Esports. McIntyre, that knockback was half a second away from being able to save June. But they keep together. Taunt goes out, two-man tether. Fan's going to be able to keep somebody up here for sure.
BBJ, can he get there in time? He lands the Ancestral as well as gets the heal. Cattle gets taunted, but Psalm, he's got his eyes on Arthlon.
The scanner got interrupted because of the Roach Challenge. He gets the kill. Oh my goodness. And for anybody going, oh no! Oh gosh, for anybody going, yo, their Vault would have kept him alive. Vault actually cannot dodge all the shots there. He's trying to get to the escape onto that portal, but he's just getting body blocked and tossed around. HeroesHearth Esports uses the teamwork and power of friendship, saying, holding hands, saying, Red Rover, bring Glorong over, boys.
They hit level 10, Dread, and they could not have pulled the trigger any quicker. The minute 10 came in, you saw we got the taunt initially against HeroesHearth, but then Ishbu's like, hold on, wait a minute, I got a taunt. They used the stage dive. They used a lot. The lurking arm is down, but the amount of damage that's going out, there's the stage dive onto the backside, Dread.
They're going to get it on to Psalm for a moment, but Crowan has absolutely no mana. The Welly now kiting out with the rest of them, able to get the slow. Fan ends up dropping there. He's got a portal in a moment. There goes the leyline seal along with that teleport from Psalm. McIntyre, without any mana, he actually gets the knockback and ends up saving Crowan for a moment with that into the fray. But the portal going to cut off the escape here. Cattle able to get the kill, and Ishbu quickly following here. Two members of HeroesHearth down. Tempo, can they get a third?
We're turning it around. They're going to dive under here. Should be enough. There's going to be the taunt. That's going to be the takedown. The salvo goes, well, the salvo
got interrupted
again.
Once again, gets interrupted there by Arthlon with that cage, or at least the tether that time.
The bunker eating the shots. No minions here, so Cattle looks like he's going to be wearing the shots for now, but that should be enough as Perry blocks one. We're going to have the rest of Tempo Storm move forward, take control again, and the timing on this is pretty impactful. We got double altar phase coming up now.
Double altar phase for Tempo Storm, plus that bell tower being converted, should be 10 shots, setting HeroesHearth now down to 12 HP on that core.
You can see the method which HeroesHearth has a way back in it, but Tempo Storm, despite going down in the middle of that, you know, the invade from HeroesHearth, the lurking arm and everything was a bit ambitious. There's going to be Cattle. He's pulled in, and Domital's used in. Comes the stage dive.
Flailing swipe force. BBJ actually flanks, but look at that Medivh portal from above, saving the day here. Tempo Storm take it and say thank you for the initiation. Easy way out.
See if that buys them enough time to come over here. There's no minions here, but now Fan and team, they're moving forward. Psalm very far forward against Arthon, who is a bit low. Now, all of a sudden, the portal's bringing in the rest of Tempo Storm. They'll be able to clear out these minions and maintain control of the spot lane.
ETC has finally made his way back here up on top to try and help with the, you know, kind of split push of the stage dive ETC. We haven't gotten to see much of this in this game, but at this point, I mean, HeroesHearth is so far behind, I don't even know if it's really going to be that element for them to gain the upper hand. Maybe if we can see them kind of throw minion wave after minion wave up there, whittle away at it, and get it converted over, they might be able to buy time. But every time any focus is put towards top, Tempo waste no time. Take the sappers.
And Blaze is top, but so is Maev, so they can't even contest down here to even take a look at things. And Medivh constantly scouting out the Garrosh. You can just, I mean, if you're a fan of mini-maps, I mean, you can just watch Garrosh and there's like a little red circle kind of hovering around, underneath, or anywhere near him, and that is the Medivh. He is constantly there.
Stuck on you, man. 12 seconds out from a triple altar phase. could be lethal here for Tempo Storm. All they need, well, it would need all
three. Get double and a boss if they end up getting, they need all three, double and a boss. We're going to see, as we see that of Tempo Storm, they're on the retreat. June starting the channel. He's not going to get there. Water Elemental is out. ETC has confirmed. Let's see if he gets the stage dive. There it is on the backside, Trey.
Yeah, he's going to stage dive onto June. Flailing Swipe's not going to land there, but Arthlon is now going to be the focus. Two-man power slide. The tether onto June. The damage is going to be real, and they get the kill, but Ishbo's the focus. He gets the Ancestral Healing after that Groundbreaker. Three-man jet propulsion coming out from Glarong, but Phoenix ends up dropping because Arthlon tracking it down there on the Maiev. Now Crowan is focusing onto Glarong, trying to get the peel, trying to buy time, but they will not let him get to that portal. Even the Warden's Cage to stop the retreat here of Tempo Storm. Jet propulsion goes through. Cattle gets knocked back. He will be the focus. 3 for 0 here in terms of kills in favor of HeroesHearth.
They're still turning it around somehow, some way. They stay within this, but only 4 core health left now. One slip up from here on out, Dreadnought will be game in favor of Tempo Storm. You lose 1 member, you lose 2, they just make a play for the boss. You can still be 1 channel away as well. You've got Leyline that could potentially be coming there. Taking away one of those win conditions, we're going to see the boss picked up here, or at least attempted. They're actually going to fall off of this.
Bottom belt tower will be converted back into their favor because of this ETC. Over this next menu wait.
That ley line, cancel them out. You hop on that boss channel. It's like, oh, wait a minute. I think we just lost. Not willing to commit to it.
It's going to be tough, though. If HeroesHearth isn't willing to force this boss with the 16 advantage, what are they willing to force with the temporary 16? The answer is probably nothing. And with that, then Tempo Storm, the control they have over the map right now. Luckily for HeroesHearth, in this game, there was only 1 altar spawning on the bottom half.
The fact that Medivh has kept an eye on Garrosh and things like that, you can see Cattle here. The Sappers are going to spawn soon. If they continue to keep an eye on that, let's see if anybody can sniff it out. But we've got 30 seconds now. This could be the deciding altar. Varian and team, they're going forward, seeing if they can find a pick here, see if he can get the taunt. So there's the portal. There it is, Dread.
Onto Arthlon. He has a Volta if he can make it out, but he gets silenced. There's the Ancestral after the cleanse coming out from BBJ. Now Caterpillar in a tough spot. June seems to be the focus as he gets ground broke. Going to be a bunker there for Tempo Storm.
4 people. Do we get a taunt? There's going to be a big taunt onto multiple people. The Warden's Cage goes down. That's going to be Stukov first to fall. Glaurung and team, they're trying to retreat. They keep getting pulled back in. Is it enough to get another kill? McIntyre and team. Cattle makes his way out. As does Psalm with almost no health left, Dread.
And they end up getting that 1 kill necessary. Great job there from BBJ. He is the only reason Arthlon did not end up getting 1 shot with that cleanse Ancestral. And he ends up saving the game here for HeroesHearth Esports. Cattle going to look to interrupt McIntyre, not give this one up too easy as the Sappers were picked up for HeroesHearth. Channel number 2.
But Arthlon's here. Arthlon's here. Cattle's got to be careful. There's going to be the tether. He's going to get pulled back in. That's going to be Cattle going down. Although he's protected for the moment, doesn't make it through the portal. That is a huge pickup for HeroesHearth, Dread.
That is absolutely colossal. Cattle way too far out there, relying a lot on Medivh to be able to get the retreat. And now for the first time, HeroesHearth is going to find themselves with a bell tower advantage over Tempo Storm. But the core HP still so heavily stacked against
If they
them.
hold on to this, though, Dread, there's only 3 shots. Even if an altar is given up, the boss is still a win condition. You can see they're going up there. Garrosh has constantly been keeping an eye on this. Ishbu, though, he might be on an island. Ishbu needs some help here. The team's rotating up. There's the taunt.
Look at
the portal out. Glau stuck on the bunker,
He's by
Dread.
himself. He can't make it out.
No way.
Jet propulsion escape. They get the staggered death again. And look at that. Waste no time. Make the rotation up. Start the boss. 42 seconds where Tempo Storm is going to be down a man. And during this time, they have to make the rotation to try and convert that bell tower. HeroesHearth might even stop them from making that happen. We'll see if they want to answer to that or pressure top. But this HeroesHearth, they're getting every small thing they can to kind of eke back into this game. But by no means is it an even game.
It's not close. It's still not close. I mean, we're almost to 20 on the side of HeroesHearth. I don't know if they can necessarily confirm 20 in the meantime. If they do, obviously it buys them a little bit of time. 30 seconds though, however. Tempo Storm still just 1 pick, 1 kill away from potentially opening this game up and then channeling that altar, winning this game. HeroesHearth, the momentum is definitely on their side. Tempo Storm, and see if they can hold. Glaurung has now spawned on that Blaze. Dread, we're 15 seconds away.
Sappers going to be picked up here for HeroesHearth Esports. 20, nowhere to be found here for HeroesHearth. Maybe if those Sappers went in and converted the bell tower, they could claim it for themselves, but that is the only case. ETC yet to get the stage dive in. Watch June, though. That is where every stage dive has been this entire time. On to him. Ishbu starts the channel. portal number 1. Kattle's going to go in with the taunt. Lurking arm combo going to be used. Stage dive comes in. Arthlon trying to get the flank from up above. Going to get that collapse in, throw down the Warden's Cage and stop the retreat. There's the bunker. Dude,
there's the taunt, 2-man taunt.
They get the 2-man taunt, but they don't get the kill. They end up getting to the portal. They're going to make it out there with the lurking arm. Look at Psalm, gets the teleport away. Ishbu and friends start the channel. BBJ on that Rhaegar, locks it in. 4 shots down to the core of Tempo, now setting it to 15.
Sappers go in. The bell tower about to go down. Arthlon baited that out, uses the vault. Minions are following. They're not going to be able to confirm this bell tower. Let's see if they siege up on this. Sappers are available right beside them. They're also very close to 20, which also gives them another advantage in Tempo Storm. I don't know if they can make it to 20 before the next altar phase.
It is absolutely a must for HeroesHearth Esports to convert this bell tower. You have to convert
Takes away a win condition.
It very much, not only does it do that, but you just need to find a way to make sure that when Glorung's back in the battlefield, Tempo Storm doesn't get to force whatever fight. You're still 11 shots away from anywhere near even. They get the bell tower conversion. They're going to have the Sappers. How much do they use to convert these over to a couple of shots? Tempo is going to meet up here. Throw out the Lion's Moth. There's the silence.
Yeah, but Cattle, he's got to be careful of this position. The slow Ishbu could easily go. That's 3 Sappers across. We're down to 12. We're talking 5 on each altar. Double altar phase here next. You can see on the minimap, Phoenix and Blaze have prioritized now the top lane. See what HeroesHearth can do in the meantime. Again, 2 levels up trend.
Tempo Storm going to put their focus and attention towards this top half with these Sappers. Not going, only 1 here towards the conversion over this. Phoenix scouting out, or excuse me, not Phoenix, but Medivh scouting out the rotations of everybody on the side of HeroesHearth up towards those 2. 27 seconds, and we're going to have those double altars.
Well, they've got their eye. If they get the pick here on the McIntyre, here they come. Medivh going in.
Oh.
McIntyre senses it. He's out. I mean, that could have been the deciding factor. Getting that 1 pick is all that's needed.
This is not
Tempo's got to concede this.
Yeah, it's not a win condition, though, for HeroesHearth. Those Sappers very much could be.
This is it. Double altar will put Tempo Storm down to 2 core health.
And they're going to convert it in time. Oh my, Tempo Storm now behind in core HP in this game. They're going to go to the top bell tower. They get it converted into the favor, but the Sappers are going to start. And those Sappers are a win condition when they make their way in here.
And they're going to have 20-tier advantage. Tempo Storm, this could be their last stand. Dreadnought, HeroesHearth is up 2-0 in this series. Can they all in on this? They've got Arthlon, they've got Maiev, they've got Garrosh.
Stukov and Leyline Seal, are you kidding me? It's so hard to move into this, J-How. Let's be real here. I agree with you. But this is 2 Sappers past the wall of death?
Could be. Here we go. HeroesHearth, can they make it happen? Can they get the 3-0 against Tempo Storm? Stage dive going in, instantly creating space. There's going to be the taunt. There's going to be the knockback.
Sappers move up.
The lurking arm is already down. Can they get the disrupt?
Shot 2, they did it! They take out Tempo Storm 3-0 in the greatest comeback you have ever seen here on Towers of Doom.
That is insane what we just watched.
HeroesHearth Esports does the impossible. The final boss awaiting. Tempo Storm has now been crossed off the list. They now, yes, again, though they are not in the first place position, they are tied in record with Tempo Storm.
They leveled up their eye level. They're packing legendaries now.
Ooh.
The colors of HeroesHearth, legendary colors.
They are legendary players here, as you see them sitting at the top, as always, for the squad, Crowan. But for real, for me, the synergy being displayed as a group there in that last game, never giving up. A lot of the plays coming out from, I mean, again, the last guy, I feel like I expected to say it when coming into the series, BBJ, the man on that Rhaegar with specifically that gank up on mid. That was the winning moment. If Tempo gets that kill, it's like, oh, that's done. That's the staggered death to the end. They're clutching it out with that cleanse.